All right, so it looks like we are live. I think it just takes a second to pop up on here.
Yo, yo, yo.
What is going on, man? Super excited to do this interview with you, man. I appreciate you hopping on.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here, bro. Thank you for inviting me.
Of
Well,
course, man.
before we start, how do I do it on Instagram again?
Yeah, just click on Instagram, and then if you still have that stream thing up, there should be a button. You just click.
Oh, you're supposed to have the stream thing up.
hmm
All right, so I got to do it all over again.
You shouldn't. I don't think you got to type it in again. You might have to. But yeah, if you just go to Instagram, then go live again. You might need to grab that key again.
All right, let me try it real quick. Are we live already?
We are. Yeah.
All good, all good. All right,
So wait for a few people to hop on.
all right, so let me all right, I'm putting this new key right here. All right, I don't know if I did it. Let's get this show on the road.
All right, let's do it. So, all right, guys, you're listening to the Real Estate Wholesaling Syndicate. So, this podcast is designed to get you real, actionable tips from some of the best people in the game, people that are really doing it, people that are go givers that want to see you win. So, that's why I'm super excited to have JR Hernandez with us. Again, thank you for joining us, man. I've heard nothing but good things, and I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, sir, bro. Thank you for having me. I've seen your podcast. I've seen the events you've been having, man. It looks like you're doing a good thing for the community, giving out some knowledge, a true go-giver. So I'm always down to collaborate with people like you for sure.
Love it, man. So, yeah, no, before we get into it, can you just introduce yourself for anyone who might not know you yet?
Yeah, for sure, man. So my name's JR Hernandez. I also go by JR Clutch. I'm the founder of Clutch Investment Group. We are a wholesaling real estate investing firm here in San Antonio. We close anywhere from 10 to 20 deals every single month. We buy deals. We're cash buyers. Um, we buy to flip. We do long-term rentals, short-term rentals. Um, we're getting into new construction. We're content creators. We're starting education, and our main goal is just to give back and teach people how to do this because it changed a life for me and my family. And I want to be able to give back to the community and help others that otherwise wouldn't have access to information that we have.
I love that, man. Yeah, man, real estate's a game changer. I definitely wish I found it sooner. I was literally talking to someone, I think a week or two ago. I had him on my other podcast, Jose Acuellar. He was literally just, so he kept talking about you, saying how he changed his life, and getting with Clutch was like the pivotal point in his life, man. So,
Oh yeah, shout out Jose, man. So Jose, yeah, man, he was. I mean, shout out to him though. Like he asked me for an opportunity, I gave it to him, and he ran with it, man. He did good things, and he still does good things, and now he's like a life coach, mentor, and I love that, man. So I'm real big onto that too. Everything that he teaches, I'm real big on that. A lot of people don't know that about me. We're just talking about it the other day with my friend. I was like, man, I'm like the ultimate like don't judge a book by its cover because people like see me and they think like they judge me a certain way, and I'm like, I'm real into like everything he's on mindset, very spiritual, like all that stuff, and I think that's huge. As a matter of fact, I think that's first in success because until you change who you are inside, you're never gonna get that success you want. You're just gonna keep getting the same results. So I'm real big on that and what he teaches.
yeah, 100%, man. Me too. Yeah, when I first got into it, I thought it was all like hooey or whatever or bullshit. And,
Yeah,
but I tried it. I'm like, oh, damn, it works. And, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's definitely the foundation for everything.
yeah, for sure.
So, how did you first get started into real estate?
So man, it was a long story, man. So when I was very young, for some reason, like what I always wanted to be was a builder, man. I never even wanted to be in wholesaling or real estate. Well, I guess building is real estate, but I always wanted to be a builder. So I would drive around every time I would see like new construction, it would just like it would capture my attention, and I was just really magnetized towards new construction. So that was always my goal, man. So Just like probably everybody watching this show, trying to get into real estate or already in real estate, I hated working a 9 to 5. Like I had the type of 9 to 5, bro, like where have you ever had a 9 to 5 where you were just at the office and like you were like, man, it has 3 hours have to have passed by, bro. It's been a long time. Let me check the clock again. And you're always just checking the clock, and like 15 minutes pass by, and you're like, no, oh my God, like that type of 9 to 5, like just horrible, bro. Hated waking up in the morning, going to this job. It was actually working with my dad, and and I feel like I had nothing going for me in my life, man. I was just a dead end job. I was getting paid like $1,200 every 2 weeks, barely affording my living, and I was just tired of it, man. So one day I decided to just go in on the dream and try to figure it out, and I just broke it down to like $1,200 every 2 weeks, $600 a week. You divide that by 6 days a week I was working. I was like, if I can just make this and then go from here, at least I won't be miserable. Right. And so I literally just jumped all in, man. I had no kids. I had no girlfriend at the time. I'm actually still single, but I had no kids. I had nothing holding me back. So I decided to just go all in, man. I quit the job, no money, and I wanted to start working my dream up to building and flipping houses. So my thing was, okay, how can I make like $80 a day? That'll make what I'm making now, right? So my thing was like the only skill I knew how to do, and I wasn't even good at that, was cutting grass. I was like, I can knock on doors all summer, and I know I can make $80 a day. And that was the only skill I knew how to do. And I had to sell my only car, my first level 5.0 Mustang, hatchback, 88. I had nitrous on it. It was just a sick car, and that's all I had to my name. So I sold it. I made like 4,600. Actually, the day I was gonna sell it, it was totaled by the mechanic. And I had this lucky guardian angel that my mom sells insurance, and she put this clause on it where it was like it covered it for some reason. Whatever. I got 4,600, and I started my journey. I bought a pressure washer, a lawnmower, a weed eater, a 98 F-150 with single cab, no AC, roll down windows, and I just went on my way, starting trying to cut grass and spray paint addresses. And man, it started working, bro. And I started signing people up to the bi-weekly contracts. So I understood the concept of cash flow when people are selling businesses. So I told people I was going to get like 50 people this summer and sell the business, right? And then a log of receipts and bank statements where it's cash flow in business. So I went all summer hustling, man. I remember me and my brother would just knock on doors. And this is how I really like learned sales and marketing and the essence, what businesses are made of, entrepreneurship, right? Just going out, have an idea and try to create money from nothing, right? You have to provide a service, you have to sell it, you have to market it, you have to, and you start creating cash, right? And so I really like learned a lot through this business. Not only that, but door knocking. I didn't know how to lead generate, so I would just go straight door knocking. And I remember to this day, man, like that's why I was never, so when I did get into wholesaling, it came back around because I was never afraid of the phones. Because if you've been in door knocking, you know that's the hardest. That's just straight face to face. Like that is not easy. And I remember going into, I would obviously if I'm cutting grass, I'm not even going to like broke neighborhoods. I want to go into big neighborhoods where I know they have money. So I would go, bro. I've got guns put on me, like just like also like get off my yard, like. So I went through it, right? And it didn't help that my brother, the way he looks, like he has a lot of tattoos and stuff. And so I learned the hard way in sales, man. But regardless, we got it done. I did get more than 50 bi-weekly contracts in 2 months. People signing up. I bought a pressure washer. I learned how to upsell services. So I'd go from cutting grass to spray painting their addresses to pressure washing their houses, and just learn how to provide income or generate income. So at the end of the summer, I put it for sale for 20 grand. The whole business. It was called Texas Services SA. It's funny because I see that truck riding around through the city. And one day this guy called me. He's like, I want you to bring everything, bring the books, bring your bank statements, bring the contracts, bring it all to my house. I want to look at it. And I was like, okay. So I got my trailer like I was going to work, took off, and he wrote me a check, $15K for his son, bought his son a business. And it was actually a really good deal, honestly. Like I didn't understand cash flow back then. I didn't understand how to put a number on the business. But if I did it now, it would have been a lot more than that. He got a good deal. because it
Yeah,
all
that's
with the
wild, man.
equipment and everything.
What made your mindset
Yeah,
like
man.
that? Most people when they're starting out, like landscaping was one of my first businesses I started too. But I was just thinking, I think like most people think like I'm just trying to pay my bills, and it wasn't really having that idea of selling it or anything else. Why do you think you were already kind of having those thoughts when you're just starting out?
Man, I think that I don't know. I've always been a hustler, man. So ever since I can remember, I was a hustler. I
Hmm.
always wanted nice things. So like I always wanted Jordans. I always wanted the nice clothes. I always wanted the cool car, gold, and you know how we are growing up, right? And you
Hmm.
want nice things. And my parents, don't get me wrong, they were hard workers and they got me a lot, but I wanted extra. So
Hmm.
I'd have to find a way to make money, man. I always had sales sales skills. I was always good at talking. I always felt like I had charisma, like I could find a way to get what I want basically all
Right.
the time. So I always had that skill. Um, and I don't know, I think that's where it came from. And I always just wanted more, man. I tell people um, like I grew up on like rap music, right? Like
Hmm.
all of us. And I would look up to like people when I was young, like Jay-Z and like, I don't know, Cash Money Millionaires and all them guys in the sick cars and stuff. And I just always wanted that.
Hmm.
And so it made me just want more. Um, but yeah, man. So when I got that 15K check, it was a lot of money to me back then. You know what I mean? It was first of all, it was proof of concept because
Hmm.
I got $15,000, right? And I told people I was gonna do it. No one believed me, and I did it. And it was just like, even though looking back, it's not a lot of money. It was at the time. It was like,
Yeah.
it was almost like it was surreal. I was like,
Hmm.
like I created a $15,000 check and skills and a business. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
and then I just kept doubling down, man. I'm like, look, I'm gonna do it again. So I reinvested the whole 15. I put a down payment on a big diesel truck. I welded my own first convertible trailer, I call it. So
Hmm.
I had like a trailer, and I would be able to take off the sides and put them on for when I do trees and stuff. And I got into the next level, so landscaping, trees, and I started working my way up. And I still got to a point where I was doing $10,000 jobs, $20,000 jobs, dumping rocks and with 18 wheelers, like type stuff. Um, and I was doing big jobs, and I was just learning how to sell and get better and better. And then I put that business for sale, 50K. And then one day, this guy that was working with me from Mexico, bro, straight
Hmm.
hustler, didn't even know English, bro. And he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I want to buy the business." And I was like, "Yo, Rick," we called him Ricky. I was like, "Ricky, you ain't got no money, bro. Like, why you like this is 50 G's? Like, you ain't got that." And he was like, "Oh, you don't think I got that?" And I was like, "No, I don't think you got that." And he was like, he was smart, bro. He goes, because I had an ad that was hiring and an ad
Hmm.
business for sale at all times. I was hiring people and I was selling the business. And he says, "So I saw your business for sale and I was interested, but then your ad popped up that we were hiring." So a smart guy, he wanted to see if I was the real deal and if it was
Hmm.
real business worth buying. So he worked for me. I trained him for like, I don't know how long he worked with me, show and do everything. And then he decided like, this is the real deal. I'm gonna buy it. And I was like, okay, whatever. Turns out he sold a Chinese restaurant out of all stuff. Um, so he came to my house the next day, bro, with a brown paper sack, and we'd all meet at my house and have our coffee in the morning. And he just dumped or he gave me 40K. He just
Yeah.
dumped 40K in 20s, tens, hundreds. It was the craziest sight, bro.
Yeah.
Um, and I just remember to this day, like we were just all looking at each other, like, what the hell? Like it was just like surreal moment.
Yeah.
And one thing I always tell people, I go like, my life ever since I made that decision to go all in,
Hmm.
it's been a movie, bro. Like, have you ever read the book The Alchemist?
I have, man. Yeah, I love that book.
It's an inspiring book, and I feel like
Yeah.
my life's like that. Like,
Mhm.
it's some
Me too.
fucking movie, bro. Like, it's crazy. Like when you have the courage to go for something. And yeah, man. So that I sold that business. Then I started a construction company. I started working with all the investors in the city, and I got up to $100,000 remodels, big remodels, um, and I was starting to save some money, and I was ready to start flipping. And then one day, this young man that was my age at the time, he said, like, "Bro, this is your company. Like, you're young. Like, man, you have the cheapest prices. Like, I can't find nobody to beat you. How'd you learn? Blah blah blah." I was like, "Yo, this is your flip. Like, how are you, bro? This is $100,000 remodel, and you're gonna make 100,000 in this house. How you're my age? How are you doing it?" He's
Right.
like, "Bro, you don't know about wholesaling. You don't know. Like, I found this through wholesaling." I was like, "What? I thought you needed a realtor." You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He's like, "Yeah. So wholesalers, they go look for properties and they get them 50% off sometimes. This was a while back, so deals were
Mm-hmm.
better. And then I get people that I know, and I borrow money from them, private money, right? And then they fund the deal for me, and I make the money. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I was just so mind blown, and I was kind of pissed off at the same time. I was like, God damn, I just wasted like 8 years. Like, hey, what the fuck? Like, knowledge is power, bro.
Mm.
Like you didn't have no money, you have no skills, you don't even know how to lift a hammer. I'm over here doing all that because I think I need that. And you just did it like that, bro. And you're making 100 grand on a flip. And I was like, ever since then, that was literally the last house I ever remodeled as a construction company.
I
Like,
love that, man.
hey, man, I started learning wholesaling.
That's crazy, man. So
Yeah.
it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like even when you were first starting out and you had that first business, you were still thinking like 10 moves ahead, just getting into real estate. And just, did you have that end vision in mind the whole time, or did it kind of come as you saw what was possible through the different, levels that you kept hitting?
No, well, my vision was like, so the vision was always to get to the point to where the whole time I was trying to build my skills so I could start a construction company to build houses
Mm-hmm.
and have the capital to do it. So I was trying to get the skills and the capital the whole time. But
Mm-hmm.
once an opportunity presented itself, I mean, I'm no dummy. I'm like, okay. So the funny thing is, that was over 10 years ago. That was over 12 years ago. And I still, to this day, have not built a house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm barely about to start building my first house.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So what was it like? So you said that was the last one you did. How did it go? Like when you started wholesaling, did you sell that business? Did you wind that down, or?
So I kind of just, I just shut it down pretty much. I let go of everybody, and I just, because I wanted to fully focus on this, so I got into the wholesaling, and I was very talented at it from the beginning. It
Mhm.
came very natural to me. I always tell people like, I just like the way I feel like LeBron James basketball came to him. I feel like wholesaling is that easy for me. Like, it's just
Mhm.
easy. I know how to get sellers. I know how to get buyers. I know how to be a leader for a team. It just comes very easy to me. So, like right from the jump, we just started kicking. Like, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I hear a lot of stories like of people that like it takes them 6 months, a year, you know, to get a deal, and they just struggle. And I'm just like, it was never like that for me. Like from the jump, I just started like it was crazy.
Mhm.
But it might have came from the decade of hard work and learning
Yeah.
sales and market. You know what I mean? So I doubt it was just like I was good at something. It was a decade of grinding and learning how to create money from nothing, and my
Yeah.
sales skills, etc.
100%. No, I think you touched on something great there. I've talked about it a few times. Like it's similar for me, like getting that first like deal. That first time I made money for myself as an entrepreneur, I think I only made like a couple grand. And what Matt said is nothing, but it was just like knowing that it's possible and just like kind of like changed my whole mind like forever. Just like knowing like, hey, I don't need to work a job. I can just do whatever and just make money. And it's just it's weird how like those steps, like looking back, like they're huge at the time. Looking back, they're kind of small, but it's just like they set you up for what's next. I feel like.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Like I was watching a Wes Watson interview. I'm a big fan of that guy. He spits bars, man. And he had told me, or he had told me, he had told the guy
Mhm.
on the podcast, he was like it kind of goes with what we're talking about, because he was like, man, when I first got out of prison or whatever, I started making like $100,000 a month. And some people are like, how did you do that? Because I started my coaching program and I didn't make anything. And he
Mhm.
said that you don't understand that he was pouring into his audience for 10 years straight from prison or whatever before he ever made a dollar. And so they don't see that part. And I kind of feel like maybe that's what that is, right? Like you're pouring into your craft for that long. So when you find that next opportunity, you already have that time of preparation to
Mm.
just break through. You know what I mean?
100%, man.
It might have
Not
been
a,
that, yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Awesome, man. So you got into wholesaling. So what was how different was wholesaling when you first started compared to now?
Um, I don't think it's different. I don't think there's nothing different, man. I think
Mhm.
it's it's always been very competitive. So I don't think it's gotten any more competitive. I think maybe there's a lot more education on it from when I started, so a lot more people do it, but the concept is the same. There hasn't been much change in regulations. Um, maybe the fees I think have kind of shrank a little bit, only because there's so many other sellers talking to so many other wholesalers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot more competition. Um, but other than that, I think well, there has been a shift. I've seen novations coming along, right? That's a new
Right.
thing. Novations, which I don't really like novations too much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like you're kind of taking advantage of people on innovation. I don't know. I don't personally like it. I mean, I know I'm gonna get some hate for that, but like, like telling somebody I'll lock it in for this and then just go and put it on the MLS for more and keeping all their equity when that's what realtors are supposed to do. Like, I feel like we should stay out of that space. Like, that's kind of greedy. Like, at least in the off market space, we're like keeping it off market, finding a cash buyer, and like we're not marking it open. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't like it personally. It's out there in the open. Like, you're literally just locking them down and listing it on MLS.
Mm-hmm.
The realtor should have did that for them,
Right. Nah, makes sense. That's a good
But
point.
I could be wrong. Like, no hate to no. I know that's like the new thing, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been looking to do it myself. I keep hearing about it. So yeah, we had did an interview I haven't put out yet with Rich Wonders, and kind of just put me on game a bit because I didn't I kind of had the same thoughts and didn't really get it, but
Yeah,
it was starting to click. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I get where you're coming from too for sure.
yeah, dude. I've always had a good heart. Like, so I was kind of a sloppy wholesaler. I don't do direct to sell marketing anymore. So all of my deals are through branding, marketing, realtors, and other wholesalers. So
Really?
I don't talk to sellers directly anymore for many years. And I was a shitty wholesaler, bro, because like, bro, they got a sweet old lady or like somebody that doesn't know what they have, and I'm over here just I felt like kind of sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just working with buyers. I let everybody else negotiate price with sellers, and they bring it to me, and we work out a fee.
Nice. I love that, man.
It makes
So
it a lot better.
yeah, not yeah, that makes sense, man. It seems like it's if you already have those connection builds and stuff too, man. Definitely seems like you can build a big operation. I know I was at your event you guys just did. You guys crushed it, and I can't remember the number, but I remember you said you did like crazy amount of deals just in the last year with the realtors.
Hmm.
What can you walk us through that? How are you working together with realtors to get deals done?
So MLS system, man. All my acquisition agents are licensed, so we put in offers every day on the MLS. We have a minimum that we work through every day, and we start planting seeds, building relationships, and letting people know because a lot of realtors don't even know that we exist,
Mm,
and a lot of them even just pass up on really good deals because they think that it's a shit box or whatever, and that there's no money to be made. But once we explain to them that there's a lot of money to be made, they were completely unaware, because realtors are trained in a certain way, like to maximize obviously the dollar for their client, which is good and that's the way it should be, but they don't even know about fixer upper properties, how investors pay up for them.
mm,
So I educate them on that, and I let them know that like the leads that they're might be walking away from might be their highest paying commissions,
mm,
right? And so we'll do a few deals with them on MLS, and then we tell them, if we could work with them pocket listings, and the next time they get a lead like that, send it to me before listing, and you can make double your commission because now you can represent us as well. Um, so it's just about educating them, I think, and giving them a new mindset, a new vision to look at deals, leads,
mm.
because they're only trained one way. And that's kind of how I feel like I'm empowering realtors right now. I'm in the works of starting a brokerage, and my ideal is like to start educating them on everything: listings, investments, sub twos, creative finance, flips, short-term rentals, long-term rentals, building portfolios. And that's my goal because a lot of them only get trained and listed for the most you can, right? And that's it. That's all they know.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. So why would for example, like why would a real estate agent like decide like to skip on a lead? Does it need too much work, or for people who might not know what's a reason they might like avoid a property?
Yeah, exactly right. If so, when a realtor's only thinking about an end buyer that's going to get a conventional loan most of the times.
Mm,
I mean, not all of them. There are realtors that list fixer upper houses, but for the most part, they're not educated on that. And when they go see a house and it's the foundation's messed up, it's totally outdated. You know what a fixer upper looks like? It's just
mhm,
like I am not listing this, right? They don't
yeah,
want to associate their names with this. Like it looks like a
mhm,
bad listing. So they pass it up because first of all, they're thinking, man, it's probably only worth 60, 70K. And what's 3% of that? Is it even worth their time?
right.
Right? And what I tell them is like, okay, well, let's make it worth your time, and I'll pay a realtor $10,000 for that lead, and they can get their sales, I mean, their client more money. right? And I pay for their clients' closing costs as well. So it's just about educating, yeah, and they're not seeing the commission spreads there a lot of times, and that it's not worth their hassle, or maybe associating their brand with that kind of property, you know?
Right. No, that
Because
makes a lot of
you gotta
sense.
think about, as a realtor, what are they always thinking? They want to go into luxury, high end. So they see these like fixer uppers, and they're like, "Do I want to associate myself with that brand?" You know. So that's what I think.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it took me a little bit when I first started to wrap my head around that. I'm like, I don't get why they wouldn't do it, but now you explained that great.
Mhm.
Awesome, man. So, what's it look like for your guys and your team? So you have them, so they're just working on market properties. You said.
I'm sorry. What was that question again?
You said so. Your team. You said they're mostly focused on properties that are on the MLS.
No. That's just part of it.
Oh, okay.
That it's just leads that we work on, right? It's just keeping our pipeline full, building relationships, and planting seeds. But we also deal with a lot of wholesalers, because we focus. Like I have a team of 5 out here that all we do is just qualify buyers. So we kind of approach it a different way, and we get buyers from all over the country, and we pair them with hard money. We qualify them. We really dig on buyers and making sure they're qualified and they have money, because a lot of times you're a wholesaler, you know that a lot of people just try to get on your list and daisy chain your deals, right?
Right.
So what do you have on your buyers list? You have a lot of wholesalers, tire kickers, and then they're just daisy chaining your deals and they're wasting your time basically. So we have a process to kind of qualify and separate the wholesalers, and the tire kickers, and we just focus on these guys that have checks, hard money approved, ready to go. So when you send us a deal, we're going to give you the best chance of closing on it at a higher price.
That's great, man. Yeah, let's dive into that because I feel like nobody's really talking about disposition. Acquisition's kind of where everybody focusing on. I feel like dispo is definitely one of the weaker areas for most wholesalers. So what are some of the mistakes that you see that a lot of wholesalers make when it comes to disposition?
So that's the first one. Not qualifying your buyers, right? So that's huge. And I tell people it's like when you're on acquisitions, right, and you're acquiring properties, the main thing is to qualify the sellers, right? You're sifting through a mound of dirt looking for the few pieces of golden nuggets when you're marketing, right? So like what does marketing consist of? Let's say for sellers, we buy a data list and we market to the list, whether we cold call it, we send direct mailers to it, we texted RVM, or I don't even know if those exist anymore, but when I was doing it, they were, or we do online now, right? Where they come to us and we're doing PPC and SEO websites, and they're submitting info. But regardless, you get leads, and your CRM, I try to describe it as a mound of dirt, and they're in that dirt. There's 100 leads. There's only probably 2 or 3 deals in there, right? So what is your point when you're calling these sellers? You're qualifying them. Right, you're seeing who's a motivated seller and who's a tire kicker, right? And I tell people you want to separate that as soon as you can, right? Because you only want to spend your time on the motivated sellers. It's the same thing for buyers, but people don't do that. So when, like, let's just say, what the mistake I see a lot of people do is they just go on Facebook and blast their properties in the wholesale groups or whatever. Who's buying? And bro, in those wholesale groups is literally nothing but fucking wholesalers.
Right.
Like it's very rare to really find a buyer in there. That's not the way. And so they don't know no better. And a lot of times they're new and they're just adding it. They just add their emails on there. Interested. A cash buyer interested. Bro, I know, I look in there and I just laugh. Bro, you are not a cash buyer. You know what I mean? They just bullshit these new guys. And so that's what they do. So they're not qualifying their buyers, and they're adding everybody to the list, and they're not even buyers. So you got to ask yourself, what is your process for qualifying a buyer, right? I know you have your process for qualifying a seller, right? You have certain questions, timelines, to see their temperature, to gauge them, right? The same thing for buyers, and people don't have a process for that.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's what it all comes down to, just having a solid process that you can duplicate and repeat every time. What are some of if someone's brand new and they don't know, like what are some ways that they can like determine or qualify if someone's like a wholesaler or if they're a buyer?
Well, first of all, I let them know up front. So this is how, because I do work with wholesalers, but I don't want them on my VIP buyers list.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just very direct. Let's be real with each other, brother. Like I'm a real buyer. I know a real buyer when I see one, and I know a bullshitter like when I see one. Like, and I know you're not a buyer, so let's get up front right now. Hey, let's be up front. I work with wholesalers, brother. Let me know up front so I could add you to my JV list. So
Mm-hmm.
when I can't sell it, I'll send it to you, and we're both on agreement, and there ain't no lying and there's no deceiving, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
telling me what it is up front. You might have some buyers. Okay, we'll work with you like that. But just tell me up front. And usually 99.9% there I give them the chance to be up front and
Mm-hmm.
still be able to work with me. So that's how I qualify a lot of people, or my
Yeah,
sales team does.
I like that.
Another one is just letting them know up front, like, hey, brother, look, because even if you're still gonna lie to me and be like, no, 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 I'm a buyer, I want to be on VIP list. Okay, brother, why don't you come in for a meeting or a virtual meeting, and we're gonna see if we get you approved with our hard money lenders, or so show me a proof of funds, right, where you don't need hard money,
Mm-hmm.
but I always recommend people to use hard money, even if you got $1 million in the bank,
Right.
but it just leverages your money. So if not, if you all you need is 30K to work with me. That's how we qualify people. You just have to have 30K liquid, because with
Mm-hmm.
that I can get you approved with all my lenders. So then, okay, let's just see approved funds of at least 30, and then let's qualify and let's get you approved with my lenders. If we go through that process, you're a qualified buyer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you're like, hold on, I don't got proof of funds, I'm like, come on, man. Like I told you in the beginning, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way, easy to qualify. But second of all is just letting them know that there's no option periods. So don't even like if you know what I mean. There's no
Mm-hmm.
option periods. That should eliminate every wholesaler, right? Because every wholesaler needs an option period.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the biggest thing I tell people, man. Like, when don't act like something you're not. Be real with people. Be upfront, and you'll gain more trust. Like, I was never from the beginning tell people I'm a buyer
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a buyer. Like when I first started, like I would just tell them, like, hey man, look, this is what I could do. I have like 6 really hot buyers right now that they have this much, they could spend this much. Do you have anything for me? Let's pair it together, see how much we can make. I've
Mm-hmm.
never been like, hey bro, I'm a buyer, let me buy, and just bullshit you like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I see so many people doing that online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the wrong way to approach it. Just be honest, gain trust from people, and do business the right way, you know?
Yeah.
So I've always been that way.
No, I love that, man. No, I think that's the best mindset to have, and I love that. Like when you're qualifying them, you give them a chance to come clean to you. Because I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you don't, a lot of them will double down. But I feel like you're giving them that out. Like, hey, we can still do stuff together, but just be straight with me.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to get through it because even if they lie, I'm going to need proof of funds and get them through my
Right.
process. And if they don't do
Mm-hmm.
that, then they just weeded themselves out.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's looking for someone, I know that you guys do a lot of JVs. So I know if they need help, they can reach out to you guys and dispose of something. And are you guys like, do you have buyers nationwide or mostly San Antonio? Do you have certain markets you focus on?
So right now we are just in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I want to go deep into the markets.
Yeah.
I want to establish a brand, a presence, so that way that it's not so hard to get deals. And don't get me wrong, I like virtual wholesaling. I think it's an easy way to get low hanging fruit,
Mm-hmm.
big fees, etc. And I know got a lot of guys that make a lot of money doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great model. It's just not for me. So I want to dominate my market and build something that's going to last a long time, a brand that's going to last a long time in the cities that I do go to. So right now, I'm still working on my processes on my sales team. So I have a lot to go, and I know just in the San Antonio market and wholesale fees, there's at least $1 million a month minimum, and there's probably 2 million a month. But I know for sure there's at least one because I know a lot of players in the game, and we talk about numbers, and I know there's at least $1 million a month. So until
Mm-hmm.
I'm scratching the surface and getting a big chunk of that, there's no reason to go to another market.
Right.
Because I want to have an office and a sales team there in every office in
Mm-hmm.
every market, and that's just the way I do it. That's not to say it's right or it's wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes a lot of sense. I feel like having that in-person culture and a team, and I've tried to hire people virtually, and it hasn't worked out yet. So
Mhm.
it's been a struggle for sure. So going back to the qualifying thing, so say someone's looking to JV with someone. I know when I first started out, I JV'd with the wrong people a couple times, and kind of shot myself in the foot, left a lot of money on the table, and some deals I think we almost didn't even get to the finish line. Are there any things that you recommend to people if they're trying to JV with someone outside San Antonio that they should do to qualify that person, make sure they actually have buyers and they're not just, trying to snake the deal? Or
Um, so are you talking from the acquisitions point of view?
yeah, so say someone has a deal, they're newer, and they're trying to JV with someone.
Oh, okay, I see. And they don't
Yeah.
have a buyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would do first is I wouldn't give the deal to anybody.
Hmm.
First, I would look for the most credible people in that market where you're trying to sell it. Somebody that has a known reputation. You don't want to deal with the fly by night guys, right?
Hmm.
And if you don't know them and nobody knows them, I wouldn't trust them with my option period. Your option period is priceless, right? That's all you got.
Right.
That's and a lot of times it's a short period. And that's why we're clutch, right? We call it clutch because we got to make shots quick, right?
Hmm.
That's the whole point of wholesaling. Like once you get this thing under contract, you got to work fast,
Right.
right? Like most of the times well, when we work with people, we only ask for 3 to 7 days max.
Hmm.
But worst case 3 days. That's a fast shot. And we're so good at what we do and believe in what we do that we feel we can sell anything in 3 days. And if we don't sell it in 3 days, then the price is probably off
Yep.
because that's how hot our buyers are. But which is fine anyway, because then we'll give you a temperature gauge of where you need to be at.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. If I'm a wholesaler and I have a deal under contract, I'm not gonna waste that or just give it to anybody. I'm gonna
Hmm.
work with a reputable company in that city and make sure I don't waste my time because there's a lot of guys out here, man, that take advantage of people. Wholesaling in general is known to be um, just kind of like grimy
Yeah.
and snakish.
Hmm.
There's a lot of it's the wild wild west, right? There's no regulations. There's no trek to call. There's no law.
Hmm.
It's just like you can burn anybody. And like I said, it all comes back though. Like, don't do that, guys, because if you're watching, everything comes back around in this business. It's a small business and everybody knows
Right.
each other. So
100%.
word gets around real quick. And once you get your reputation tarnished in this business, it's done.
Hmm.
So don't do that. Don't be that guy because you ain't gonna like I always tell people like, are you in here for the marathon or are you here till tomorrow for the quick race? Because I've personally been in positions where I'm like, man, we can make an extra 20, but I gotta do something where I don't think it's right.
Mm.
And for 20 grand, guys, would you risk your whole career or your I mean, to me, it's an easy
Yeah.
answer, but to a
No.
lot of people, it's not easy,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
I think it's kind of they get to that scare they have that scarcity mindset when they want to just like try to make as much as they can and fuck other people over because you'll make way more than that 20 grand long term if you just treat people right and do it the long focus on that relationship as opposed to just trying to get as much as you can out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that's great, man. That's some great advice. I mean, I got burned a couple times when I first started, not knowing any better. So if you guys get nothing out, that's a huge gold nugget right there. It's just not letting someone take up your whole option period because it sucks to leave money on the table, and it sucks even worse if they don't get the deal done.
Yeah, nah, 100%, man. And a lot of people too will just BS you and
Hmm.
waste your time. That's one thing that we try to be very transparent.
Hmm.
Like, hey, look, man, look, this is what's going on with the deal. It's crickets, right? We sent the deal out, bro. Literally crickets. We haven't even got a showing. That's what it is, bro. We could drop it right now for you, but we're probably gonna need that lower price.
Hmm.
Or, man, hey, it's hot. I know I only got 5 days on this, but we're getting so much action, bro. We're gonna sell this. I need 2 more days. Whatever
Right.
it is, I'm gonna give you the feedback,
Hmm.
and
Nice.
that's rare.
Yeah, 100%. It really is. So what would you recommend for someone like as far as building their buyers list? And are you guys do that proactively? Like if someone's brand new, would you recommend they proactively start building that or wait till they have a deal? I know it's kind of different
Um, I
perspectives
would,
on
I
that.
would, I would say definitely start from the beginning. Work
Mhm.
on your buyers list. Yeah. So we do everything organically. I buy a lot of data, and we have really, really good scripts. And we have a big office here in San Antonio. Excuse me. We have a big office here in San Antonio by the airport, and it's
Mhm.
real nice. I made it to where it looks good for investors when they come in. and we try to bring everybody into the office, and that's the benefit of working in one market and being here in the market. So we bring them. It's a big difference for credibility when they walk in here and they see the big team, they see the nice office, they see the podcast room. They like, this is a business, right? They feel more comfortable with you. And guys, if you're wholesaling, you know that a lot of times we as wholesalers require a non-refundable deposit, and usually it's a big amount, right? So anywhere from, we require 3,500 to 5K to 10K, depending on the size of the deal. But think about it. If you just meet a guy at Starbucks, he doesn't know who you are. You tell him you got deals, and it's time to actually give him, and it's time for you to ask him for this non-refundable. He's gonna be a little sketched out. Like, wait, who are you, bro? You know what I mean? But that's the whole point of what we do to build credibility. When they come in here, they know there's somewhere they can go. They're not gonna get scammed, and that it's a real business. So it makes it a lot easier for them to hand us over them deposits. So much that my guys are so good that they'll get a $3,500 deposit to hold on file, so that when they're ready to buy a house, because our deal's so quick, they just sell it. They already have a deposit on file. All they need to do is sign a quick DocuSign. And that's the way we work in my office. So the first person with the non-refundable and the first person to sign the contract is gonna win the house. So it's like a race almost, right?
Yeah.
And so they're so good, my sales team, that they have deposits on file. Like, they're ready to go. And that's part of, in my opinion, like building that credibility in one city, a real office with real team here in the city that you're working in your market.
I love that, man. That's some great advice. So what other advice would you have for new wholesalers that are just getting started, or maybe they're afraid to take the leap and get into wholesaling?
I mean, I like to be real, man. This is a hard game. It's a tough game. If you really are just doing it for money, you're not gonna last, I don't think. Because either you're gonna do something like that's immoral and you're gonna burn yourself, or you're just not, the money isn't gonna, like, it's gonna take too long, because it's a hard game starting from scratch. It's really gritty. It's really grindful. Like, I know y'all probably see my Instagram, or whoever you follows Instagram, or YouTube, and it looks cool, and it is cool. We made it to the point where it's fun. I'm here now and it's fun, but in the beginning it's nothing like that. And so you have to go in with the mindset that this is gonna be tough, but there is no plan B. You're gonna burn the bridge behind you. If you have responsibilities like kids, a wife, and a lot of bills, don't just quit your job, because you're not gonna make that much money that fast, and you're gonna give yourself a very small chance of success, because you're gonna need money. So if you're single and you don't have many responsibilities, then fuck it, do it. But that's the way I did it. But I always tell people, man, it's a tough, grimy game. But once you get over that hump, which is at least 6 months, minimum of 6 months, if you're starting from scratch, all the way up into a year, it's going to be the hardest thing ever. You're going to fucking bang your head on the wall. You're going to sell shit, and it's going to have title issues. You're going to be so close to 10K, and it's going to disappear right from your hands. All that's going to happen, I promise. It still happens to this day.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a seller backing out of an $18,000 fee, and that we're trying to fix. It happens every fucking week.
Yeah, I had a 60K one fall through a week or two ago. And
there you go. Imagine that, 60K.
Yeah, it's not fun.
That hurts. So just remember that, right?
Yeah.
Or come in with that type of mindset, because then you're going to be ready to be successful. What else? I mean, just that, man. Coming in with the right mindset.
No, that's huge, man. It's really what it all comes back to. So as far as building a team, if someone, they got a couple of deals, they're ready to start building a team, what advice would you have for them? What positions should they hire for first? And what does your team structure look like?
All right. So I didn't build a team the right way. I've blown up my team and reorganized it so many times in the past 5 years. It's just about pivoting and figuring things out. So the way you should do it, and I'm going to tell you how I did it and how you should do it. All right. So how you should do it is you should master every department, from the first department all the way to or from the first part of the process all the way to the end, and then start on your weakest areas. That's how I would do it. But I hated everything about it. So when I first started, I was like, okay, well, how do I generate leads? So I bought a program, and it showed me how to buy data. It showed me how to cold call, right? And so usually what people tell you is you should master cold calling before you delegate it, right? So you can teach people how to do it the right way. I didn't do that. I think you should do it like that. So the first day I was on the phones, I was like, yo, I am not doing this. This shit sucks. Fuck this. I immediately went online and hired a VA for $4 an hour. We learned together because she's not getting no leads because I don't even know how to teach her. I don't even have a good script for her, but I just know I don't want to do that, right? So eventually we start tweaking it. We get a little better. I'm getting 1 lead a day. Oh, I got 2 leads today. And then we start figuring out a process, right? You learn through failures. You learn through action. That's one thing you're going to have that I feel like was my superpower. I just always taking massive action.
Right.
With a plan, I execute the plan and I pivot. That's success. Plan, execute, pivot. Plan, execute, pivot. Plan, execute, pivot. That's all you got to do for success. So my plan was to cold call. I executed it and I pivoted. I gave it over, right? We sucked. She sucked. But little by little, we started working on it, getting better. She started generating leads. While she's doing that, I'm trying to get buyers and work with people's deals because I want to start making money today, right? I can't wait 6 months. And then so eventually we get to a point where we're doing three leads a day, 4 leads a day. And then I started calling the deals, doing acquisitions, and I'm like, yo, this shit sucks too. Yeah. I'm not doing this either, bro. And like I said, I don't recommend this. Do not do this. But I'm just saying how I did it. Because there's not a right way. But well, actually there is a right way, but I didn't do it. So I called my cousin from Houston and I told him, look, man, I got $1,000 I could pay you a month, or $1,200 I could pay you, plus a commission split on everything you bring in. And he wasn't doing nothing. He's like, all right. So he comes in, boom, boom. He's calling. I'm working with him, trying to figure this out. He sucks too, bro. And it's not working. And so the only thing's working is me getting buyers and working JVs. So I'm like building a little department, right? Side to pay him, to pay for the marketing, because I'm like, no, this is gonna work because I know this is how everybody does it. So I call another cousin. He comes in. He sucks too. So we just all suck at acquisitions, bro. And I'm just wasting money. Like I'm spending probably at this point on my VAs and my 2 cousins. I'm at like $2,500, maybe $3,000 with my little office a month. Not making no money, just trying to do JV deals to fund that. But luckily I had money saved up for the business. So I get lucky. So I keep hiring and I find this one good fucking sales guy. And he's a monster at sales, bro. And he starts going through our CRM and he starts converting. And I'm like, holy shit, this shit is working, bro. 70K in a month, 80K in a month, 100, just like off this one guy. And then it starts like going into the other part of the team. They're like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. So we start kind of like, it starts working, bro. And I just keep dumping money back into the company. And then I'm sorry, I'm going to get around to your question, but
no, you're good, man.
I'm just giving you an example. So the first cousin that I called, he sucked at acquisitions. He came up to me one day and he's like, hey, yo, because I can't live off this 1,200. I'm not making commissions. I've been here for fucking many months. I gotta go, man. I gotta go back to Houston. I was like, hold on, bro. Before you leave, let me switch you over one spot. And I put him in Dispo, what I was doing, finding buyers. And bro, he just took off like a rocket. Like a rocket, bro. He started selling 5, 6, 7 deals for us every month. So now I have this killer acquisitions. My cousin's getting Dispo, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking a step back. And I'm like, okay, this is starting to be something. We start building off of this. And so to answer your question, I think you should just let it come and part of what you're weakest.
Yeah.
I did it wrong, but it worked. I just kept pivoting and executing. But also you got to find the moral of that story is you got to find the right person for the right seat. So one guy that would have quit that was in acquisitions, if I didn't pivot him and move him to Dispo, we would have never saw that success to help us get to that next level to build off of. And now guess what? He's still to this day my top sales guy.
Wow.
He's over 6 figures every single year.
That's badass. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are just so want to like fire quick and a big thing, like hire fast and fire quick, or they're hire slow, fire quick. But I feel like that it's like moving them to the right seat, man. It's I've heard so many people say that was like such a huge decision for him.
Yeah, and for me, like, don't get me wrong, I believe in firing quick too, but I
Mm-hmm.
only fire based on bad attitudes,
Mm-hmm.
bad fits for my culture, or like bad apples.
Mm.
Those type of people, I don't hesitate. I'll get you out
Yeah.
of there quick. You don't want that in your organization. But one thing that I respect is somebody who comes to work every day and tries and listens to what I
Mm.
say and is trying their fucking ass off. And that effort, you can't replace that.
Mm.
I can't teach you hustle. I can't teach you commitment. I can't teach those things. So those people, I don't want to let go of you. Even though
Mm.
you're not doing good in this seat, I love your hustle. I love your commitment. I love your loyalty. I gotta make you successful. So let me try it again. Let me move you here. Let me move you there. I just don't want to lose you because those type of people are rare. I'd
Mm.
rather have a guy like that who sucks, but really gives him his all. Maybe he just hasn't found the maybe he's a fish trying to maybe he's a fish trying to learn how to climb a tree. Like, you got to put him in the water, right? And like, you got to find the right spot for him. Then I take a guy like that any day over a very high producing sales agent that has a horrible attitude, that's very selfish, that'll ruin my organization. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what I deal with. I deal with a lot of people like that, and I make them stars. I make them money. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I
Yeah.
take pride in.
I love that, man. That makes so much sense.
Mhm.
So awesome, man. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I've gotten a bunch of great tips, great value. I know everyone else did too. We got a bunch of comments. So we like to end this with a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions they want to ask for JR, just drop them in the comments. We'll get them answered for you before we hop off. But yeah, man. No, I mean, this is great, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
For sure, brother.
So what's the best way for people to connect with you, like on social or get in touch with you or follow what you're doing?
So guys, as you know, I'm big on content creation. You can find me on Instagram at JR Clutch. All the platforms are JR Clutch. I have a YouTube channel where we do vlogs and podcasts every single week. Where I try to educate and bring the best people in the business that I know of, real people that check out. I don't bring no fluff on my show. I know a lot of guys that really do big deals. So y'all can find me on any platform: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, X, at JR Clutch.
Love that, man. And is that the best way for them to reach out to you if they want a JV or they need help finding a buyer?
Yeah, I think the best way to reach out to me, where I'm most active, is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can find me, and I respond same day. If you send me a deal, I'll respond to the message, and I'll put you in a 3-way with my best acquisition agents. And man, we can start making money, man. That's my goal, is to make a lot of money with the community and teach. We're also going to be having in-office workshops starting February 24th here at my office, where I break down the whole playbook.
I love that, man. That's great. So it looks like we got one, and I apologize if I miss any because it looks like some of the comments on here are coming and going. But Darlene asked, what step do I take first, being a stay-at-home mom with so much fire and drive to wholesale?
What step do I take first, being a stay-at-home mom with so much fire and drive to wholesale? So what I would do is, the good thing about this business, Darlene, is that you can do it from home. So that it works with what you got going on. So what I would start doing, what I tell people, is consistency is what separates the winners from the losers, the people that make it and the people that fail. So get one at least, okay, get an amount of time, a time block that you can consistently do daily, even if it's only 1 hour a day, where you start taking action to generate leads. Just do that every day and start learning the process, start learning how to wholesale. Also, I mean, keep studying, keep watching content and all that, but don't overdo it. Put more effort into the work. So my advice to you would be, even if it's just 1 hour a day where you time block, but you consistently do it at the same time every day, find that first, and then continue to do that consistently, and that'll help you win.
Love that. That's great advice. Yeah, and Darlene said, I have all the time.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing. I know we kind of touched on it earlier when you're sharing your story about things you went through that set you up for success. But I think another piece we might have missed the touch on was just, but it showcased itself when you were sharing your story, was just that Matt taking massive action and just being consistent, taking massive action. So I see so many people like online or post reach out and they're like, hey, I've been doing this for a week or 2 weeks and I haven't gone anywhere yet. I'm
Oh
like,
my
man,
God.
And,
I laugh
and
at
like,
those people, bro. That's
yeah, like
they don't have
that's
the
not.
right mindset. They don't have the right mindset.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we're at fault though too. Like me and you, like we
Mhm.
we put in all this content where we make it look easy,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they think it's gonna come easy.
Right. Yeah. I always try to say, I know most people don't listen. Like, it's simple, but it's not easy. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of roller coasters, ups and downs, dealing with, there's huge wins. But there's, you take big L's too when, something goes through at the last minute when you think you got a big deal. And it's, you got to have thick skin, and you just got to keep doing the work every day.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Wholesaling, man. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Hmm.
It's so simple.
And Darlene asking, she said, do I need a mentor? That's a good question.
No, I don't think you need a mentor, Darlene. We have so much free content online that I think that we teach for free. You don't need to pay anybody. I mean, an accountability coach and the right mentor would be great. Like it'll definitely help you get there faster, but it's you don't need a mentor.
Hmm.
You need action. You need to go make mistakes. You need to go figure out the process of how to do a deal.
100%. Yeah, I feel like there's a fine line because I feel like a lot of people either they just don't take action because there's so much content out there, and they just keep learning and learning and learning and never actually taking action. But for me, and let me know if you have a different perspective, but I think you need to know the process. You need to know, basically what it looks like, but you need to know every detail. Like if you find a deal, like focus on talking to people, find a deal, and then just as you go, then worry about step B, then worry about step C when you get there. I
Mhm.
see so many people like, oh, what if this happens, or what if this goes wrong, or what if this I get sued, or what if all these things that like probably won't happen, and it's just like,
Yeah. That reminds me of the people are like, "Oh, I need an LLC before I start." I'm like, "What, bro? You're thinking the wrong. What do you think of LLC? You need to make
mhm,
some money before you need to worry about taxes."
right. I got to get a logo on my shirt and a business card, and I got to get
All
a website, and make
that.
sure my desk is all neat.
Exactly. Yep.
Because yeah, it's definitely it's a fine line because a lot of times like you don't realize it, but a lot of people they use it like trying to get super prepared as procrastination. But
Exactly. Too prepared.
mhm,
What do they call that? Where you like study too much. I forgot what they call that.
I don't know.
Um, what is like something paralyzed. I don't know.
Analysis paralysis.
Analysis
Yeah.
paralysis. Yeah, like you know too damn much. Like just go mess up. That's my thing. Like I love to mess up and pivot because when I mess up and pivot, I know I'm in the right spot. Like I'm making moves.
Hmm.
Because I've never all the businesses I've ever started was a pivot.
Mm.
Nothing ever went according to plan. And you have to understand that, guys. Like, you don't know what you don't know. The best thing is just to do the best plan that you possibly can, logically, right? Do your research, make a really solid plan, and then go for it. And then you're gonna learn from there. You're gonna, oh, hold on, I didn't think about that. Let me switch it.
Mm.
Boom. Or oh, there's more money to be made this way. Boom. Or you know what I mean? So never, not once, have I ever came up with a perfect plan. I guarantee you, every entrepreneur out there will tell you the same thing.
100%, man. Yeah, and just not being afraid to fail. Like that's how you learn. You take a L. It's a lesson, and then just like Jr. said, just pivot. And we
Yeah.
got Jacob on YouTube asked, "What was the best and most successful way to find leads for you? Was it buying data?"
Absolutely. So if you're doing straight to seller marketing, the juiciest deals are always going to come from buying data, right? You're going to get your 20 pops, your 30 pops, your big fees are going to come from marketing. But yes, you need to get really good at buying data, and there's a science to it too. So you need to research that, right? So go to listsource.com, make an account. There should be a code that you can find out there where you could buy data for 3 cents a line. And you got to get really good at buying these niche lists,
Mm.
right? One of them that, I mean, everybody buys this list, but absentee owner's good because that means that it's just an extra house, right? They're either renting it or whatever. They do not live at that house. And then you can drop filters on top of these lists. So, for instance, an absentee list out of state on top of that would be crazy. And then you could even add 65 and up or 50 and up. So they're older people that don't even live in the state that have a house somewhere in Texas or wherever you're
Mm.
trying to market. Boom. The better you get with data, the better It's like a science. Like if you
Mhm.
master that, if you're doing straight to seller marketing, you will kill it. But you just got to find certain niches, right? Because I would personally, and it depends also on your style. I would do shotgun style when I did it. I got
Mhm.
to a point where I had like 8 cold callers, and I have every single number in San Antonio that has over 30% equity. So I would literally buy a blanket list of Bear County that was 100 to 100 to 70% equity, right? Or wait, I'm sorry, 100 to 30% equity. And I literally just bought all the data in San Antonio, spent a lot of money, have 8 cold callers just blowing up everybody's phone in the city. I probably called you and your mom, and uh, and we just generate a crap ton of leads. That was my method, right? I don't. If you're just starting, definitely don't do that. But
Mhm.
also, I was doing retail as well. I had licenses. I had realtors in my office, and we'd split listings and stuff, so it made more sense. Um, but yeah, man, getting studying data and how to pull lists if you're doing street seller marketing is huge. PPC is great. Going online, SEO is very competitive right now.
Mhm.
I actually would probably pivot from that because a lot of people are doing that right now, and leads are getting very expensive. And I'd probably go to some old school tactics, right? Maybe direct mail. The people ain't doing that no more. I'm not sure. I don't do
Mhm.
direct seller marketing, but I would pivot where a lot of people aren't doing it.
100%. No, I think that's great advice. And yeah, I think finding those blue oceans, I feel like if you can find out where everybody else isn't doing and you focus on that, it's a lot easier than trying to compete against 12 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then Darlene said, so if I find a seller, who do I go to buy it? When I find a buyer, where do I get all the contracts for each one?
So, Darlene, perfect question. Thank you. No, if you find a seller, Darlene, you can reach it out to me, and I can do all that work for you. I can even. I'm a buyer myself, so I'm always looking for deals for myself. But I have a big sales team out here that if you send us a contract, we can get it sold for you. So, Darlene, you're on Facebook. Add me as a friend, and yeah, I can help you sell your deal. But if you don't want to send it through me, you could go on Facebook groups, and there's a lot of leads in there. And you could go on there, and you're gonna have to qualify a lot of people because there's a lot of wholesalers and fake buyers in there. But you could post your deals in these Facebook groups and just be really careful marketing your deals and qualifying who you put on your list. Even if you don't have a deal, you can go in these Facebook groups and start reaching out to them anyway, like under other people's posts, and you can start generating buyer leads like that too.
That's great advice. And then, yeah, if you need contracts, I send all my contracts out. If you just join my group, Real Estate Wholesaling Syndicate on Facebook, yeah, we'll send you all my contracts. Or just shoot me a DM, and I'll send you all my contracts and scripts and everything we use.
There you go.
Jacob said, appreciate that, man. Great advice. Hugo asked, if you do on market and make 10 offers per day, do you have to put EMD on every offer?
Absolutely not. So 10 offers a day is a lot of offers. I don't think you'd be able to keep up with that. But no, you only put EMD on offers that are accepted. So if you send 10 offers, you get one, you'll need EMD for that one offer. Make sure you put an option period. Never go no option.
That's great advice.
And you don't always have to put 1% either, Hugo. We rarely put 1% unless they ask. But usually if they're fixer uppers, we put very little.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, man, but I appreciate you coming on. We are throwing our event for everyone too on 2 weeks from now, less than 2 weeks now. So February 22nd, we're at the Brick at Blue Star. So if you guys want to come on out, shoot me a DM. I'll get you a link for some tickets. And yeah, we have a bunch of speakers. We got people flying in all over. So love to see you guys there. Love to meet you in person. If you guys want to come down to San Antonio and hang out, we'd love to have you. And then make sure you go and you follow JR. Again, it's JR Clutch.
JR Clutch on all platforms.
Perfect. Awesome, brother. Thanks again for coming on. If you guys have any other questions, drop them. I'll come back through the comments and make sure we get you guys answers.